go out and do those things for other people, for other teachers. You're writing, you're having to do thinking, you're taking notes in other classes, that you go out and you do that and you're more prepared to do it. I do it better because I'm the one who is giving you the instruction on this specific skill. And so my job is to help you be ready. Not your job isn't to make Kelly happy. Your job is to learn these skills. So you go into history class and they're like, okay, 15, Dr. Nelson, you have 20 minutes. Answer this question. Here's a piece of paper to write it on. Oh shit, what do you do? Study, okay? But how can you think about writing those things on the spot, things like that, right? What are some tips, some tricks, some skills you can use that will help you? So this is all about, it's preparing for that, right? Something like history is giving you context so that when you go out in the world, you have that context of who are we as a people, as a culture, different cultures, different ideas. Where do we come from, right? What can we learn from the past in terms of thinking about how are we doing things? How do we want to do things? How do we not want to do things? And that's about like really having that kind of deeper critical thinking. That's more philosophical. I mean, if you really think about it, history is much more about philosophy. And then, it's determined. They say the winners write the history. Well, after Jack died, I wrote a poem. And I've written a lot of poems, like when I was a kid, and burned them all. Thank goodness. I learned later on I did not want to be a creative writer. I love to read, but yeah, somebody else can write it. I'll read it. Okay. I really like the nerdy, research writing and shit like that. So I'll teach you how to get through all of it, even if you don't like it. Okay. So not all of it, but as much as I can. But yeah, and my poem ended with not the fact that the victors wrote it, which is kind of the victors, but it's the living rewrite the dead, right? We write what we think about the history. We can say we know this, we have these documents, or we have this, written in stone somewhere, whatever it is. But even those writings, do we understand that deep connotation, that meaning of them, right? As I study Spanish, and as we think about, any language, right? As I study English, I don't know all of English. I don't know every medical term there is, every pharmaceutical term there is. Nobody knows all of the language. Just the way it is. You're never going to know all of the language. But my goal in Spanish is not to be write papers. It's to be just conversational. Right? And so there are always things where it's like you can tell somebody may not have that native language, whether it's actual language, English, Spanish, French, whatever, or it's that regional thing, right? That way we talk, the way we use different words. Okay. You can tell whether they are kind of native to that region, the way they use different words. Those are the connotations, the meanings. Right? In Spanish, you can have one word. In English, you can have another word. And they may sound the same, they may mean the same, but they don't really mean the same. Right? They're just we don't quite use it that way. That's the trick. That's the magic of communication. Figuring out how you get what's in your head and your heart into somebody else's head and somebody else's heart. And that I do think is rather magical. So, I don't know. Great questions. Thank you. See, you could even fill out that survey form and say, hey, I'm the one that pointed out the links were wrong. And I would be like, cool, excellent. All right.
I had a question for the general education thing. When I screenshotted it, I didn't screenshot it from the file screen that you showed us earlier. I screenshotted it just after I finished.
That's fine. That's fine. Because I hadn't showed you yet. Right? So, again, I'm not expecting you to know it then. You already got it turned in. So, yeah. Sorry. And this is the peppermint. I like it. And then there's a strawberry one. It's very nice. Cherry's okay. And the plain one works. Yeah. This one's green. That's my favorite color. Good. What else? What else do y'all want to know that I can help you with so far today? Doing with chapstick too.
I was needing it so bad. I went out there and I'm like, oh,
I know. I have. They were giving it away at that faculty expo I was at. So I got two
Oh,
of
okay.
them. One of them already cracked open for me, but there's another one in my office. So anybody needs them, you can get official El Paso Community College.
Oh,
I think it actually may be that chapstick brand, which I do have an affinity for. What else? What else? What else have you like? And this is what I want you to remember is in this class. If you have questions, like I can't answer content questions about any of your other classes. You ask me about Mesopotamian history that you're going over with Dr. Nelson in his class, I'm gonna be like, I don't know. I watched some videos on it before. Yeah, it's like old, and they wrote on rocks. Cool, you know. I watched Tasting History with Max Miller on YouTube. Anybody watch him? Hey man, he does like he's tasting history. So he, will do this thing on some part of history, and he did actually this Mesopotamia. We actually have some historical records of this guy who was a copper salesman, but maybe he was just a con man because they found his house. And we have a lot of stuff about kings and queens and like all the people that are high up, right? Generals and all that. But this guy's just like a merchant, a salesman, right? And in his house, when they excavated it, and this was stuff that was written, I'm pretty sure I was watching it last night. I was kind of tired. It comes out on Tuesdays. I think it's like cuneiform, where it's in the clay tablet, right? There were like complaint letters to him. Like, dude, you told me you were going to give me the best copper, and I sent my servant all the way through this land that we're at war with to get it, and he showed up, and you said, well, here's what we got. You just take that. And it was inferior. I will not accept this, right? So like there's a couple of things like all these complaint letters, right? And so we don't know, right? Like Max Miller points out, maybe he was a troll. He was doing that because he was like, yeah, you're over there, come get me, whatever, right? Maybe like why did he keep all these complaint letters? But then what he does is he makes like food from that era. So he'd be like, this is probably what this guy ate. And sometimes we have recipes that are reliable. That's old enough that, like, the few recipes you can have from that time, it's like your grandma saying, here's how you make this bread or these tortillas I've already made. Oh, you use like a handful of this and a little sprinkle of that. And you're like, okay, but I make them my mom's salsa. Mine never tastes like hers. My sister Jan, it's close, it's good. My sister Tracy, she can do it. Yeah, you eat that, and it's like, oh man, I'm home. Yeah. And she has showed us, like both Jan and I have stood there in the kitchen and watched her make it, and she'll tell us, and you use this much, this handful, and we're watching her and looking at her. Once in a while, I get a taste of my mom's. I can't tell you much more about Mesopotamian history other than there was this copper salesman who may have just been a con man. Kind of cool piece of history to have, right? But anyway, but I can tell you about kind of the way college works, or if something's happening, you can say, hey, what about this or what about that? I won't always have the answer, but I can usually point you to somebody who might, or tell you, like, if you're like, hey, I'm not sure how to ask my teacher this, I can tell you, here's the way you approach that, because this really is about learning that professional communication, which is really weird and sometimes very two ways. Like in the classroom, I am really casual. I do want you to ask me questions. I do want you to call me Kelly. I mean, you can call me Professor Wood, and I'll laugh at it every time. Okay? I mean, I've finally accepted that I'm not a poser. They are still paying me to do this job. I have done it for over 20 years. Look, I'm a professional at it. This is my thing. I know it. I don't know it all because I'll never know it all. But I know more than I did 20 years ago. That's cool because I love to learn. But I can help you with those things, okay? Because one of the kind of biggest things in terms of being a good student is learning how to negotiate college as it is. And part of that is those relationships, right? That difference between the professor you can just chat with when you get to chat with them. Terry, one of my best friends, right? We can sit and have tea and we can talk this and that. Versus we also have this part of a relationship where, I'm professor here and she's dean. So she's my boss, my supervisor. She's there like I'm there for you. If I need something, I go to Terry. If I screw something up, man, I'm gonna go to her too and say, okay, I did this thing. I don't know how to fix it, or here's how I think I should fix it, or here's what I did, right? Whatever. I'll do that. And you want to be able to do that because it's just, you hope you get it right. I hope I get it right every semester. Most semesters I do. And you know what's nice? Is the ones where I don't. Those are usually the better ones where we have better relationships. Because it is kind of nice to see that everybody can get everything right. That's what I think. You know. So, but I spent a whole lot of my life being like, oh my God, I'm not as good as them. They're great at it. Well, they have more experience. Sometimes people are just better at stuff, right? Not a math teacher because I wasn't better at math. I was better at English and stuff. That's a really good people that really inspire me. All right. Don't tell me we don't live in a beautiful place, right? And you have to learn how to look at the desert to find the beauty. So. Those are the mountains right over here, wherever they are. Yeah, that's the Castor Range. That's when the rain's just right, when everything in the poppies bloom, you can find that. Yeah. Yeah. So in the spring, it's got to be, the weather's got to be just right, that kind of thing. What else do you want to share with me? Tell me about, ask me right now. I'm just going to close a lot of tabs as we go along, see what I want to close, what I don't want to close. Let me move to us. We're Monday, Wednesday. Let's see. There we go. There's the daily schedule, and now let me just do this, Kelly. Okay, here we go. Right click, close tabs to the right. Ooh, that's all gone. Love it. Okay, student preview. So when you go there to our INRW page, it should look like this. We're really not until the end of the semester. We might. So I reserve the right to be, not 100% accurate here. Like if there's something we do that I'm like, okay, we need to turn this in, then, for here, I'll put a link up there for you to turn it in. But generally, everything we do is kind of either handwritten or we're doing it, on the computers. We're going to the computer lab or something like that and working, and then you're kind of turning it in. Well, a lot of it's for 1301. So you're turning it in however you turn in things there, wherever. We have very few things that we're just turning in for this class. So this is mostly all informational. So let's see. Double check, because once I make the mistake, then I'm so paranoid afterwards. I'm like, oh my God, what else did I screw up, right? And that's why the beauty of age is I've gotten where I'm not like going out and going to kick myself in the ass for the next 3 weeks about this. Why, right? That doesn't help me move on. I got it fixed, right? Yeah, I mean, it's a win, right? Okay, Monday, Wednesday. So I do have our schedule. We'll come back and look at this in just a minute. And then there's the link to the syllabus and policies. Let's see if I did that one right. Oh, 311. There we go. Okay. Like I said last time, we kind of looked at this. The syllabus itself, the policies are the same, my late policies, all of that kind of stuff. So they're the same. You answered the questions on the quiz. Y'all get that done? It's going to be open till the 4th, so if you didn't get a 100 on it, go back in, get that 100, unless you're like, oh, right? Get it early while it's easy, because it does get a little harder than what we've done so far, right? So far, if you've done everything, you have done the syllabus quiz, right? So you can make up to 100 on that, and you have till 4th. I give 2 weeks just in case somebody has technical problems getting in Blackboard. I mean, things have happened before, and I'm going to roll with the flow. There are some other teachers who total hard asses, and they get to be that way. We learn to work with different bosses. The first place I worked, I had 2 managers, and one of them was like, dude, Floyd was chill and laid back, and Steve was a hard ass. And he was like, my way or the highway. Really. So when he was there, we did his way or the highway. And Floyd was like, I hired you. I want you to do this thing, do it well, right? It's a restaurant, be sanitary, okay, keep things clean, be nice. So anyway, the rules of the road are pretty much the same. They are exactly the same. The only difference is what we're doing in terms of how that works. And I showed you last time that it's that 25% each, right? It's your grade from 1301, your attendance and participation here, your coursework. So that would be the little things like in what we just did in 1301, the note-taking thing. Well, that's a 100 that goes in the coursework section. You did it, you were here, right? You know, we'll kind of slow down next time, talk about it a little more. And then there's your final portfolio that you're putting together. So that's how your grade's made up. So the only thing that's different here that you might want to go look at is when you're not sure about kind of a grade or something with the syllabus. I did put in this communication toolbox because it actually has some good stuff that need a tutor for anything, like this tutor finder is great. I love this thing. I'm like, this is the best thing ever. What's another class y'all are taking? Somebody. Be taken. Biology 1301. Yeah, okay. So let's look. Let's go find biology. Okay, 1301 or something like that. We're just, oh, wait, what about 1306? Are you a science major?
Yeah, it's for a science major.
Oh, okay, there we go. All right. So now we have this whole list of people who are tutoring biology for science majors. Okay, and what you can do is you can look and see like there's Rio Grande. Well, Natalie too. Here's Natalie. She tutors, but she's not working on Sundays. Oh my gosh, they're open on Sundays. I think they do online on the weekends. Okay, but here's Natalie, and if it's linked, that's going to be online time, right? But here she's in person, so she's at TM. So here from 8 to 10 a.m. She's working on Mondays and Tuesdays, and oh look, there she is Wednesdays, and 9 to 10. She's probably got a class between 8 to 9, 10 to 5. Huh, that's interesting. Whatever, 9, 10. Looks like she's working 8 to 5. She's got a long day. Take her a snack. Come by my office and take her a snack, and then that way you'd be like, if you find a tutor you like, work with the same person. You go in and work with somebody and it doesn't quite work for you, it doesn't click. Work with somebody different, but also don't be afraid to go back to that same person because sometimes it's just getting to know each other better that helps you communicate better. Okay, so like if that's the only person there, don't be like, it's my suggestion. I'm sounding like the guy from the weird white guy who had the your notes, the taking notes with the group 5,
Which is Jim?
Yeah, no, not Jim Quick. The other guy. No, nobody had this guy. He's great because he's hilarious. I really think he is because he's like, well, you can do this thing. Like he's kind of sarcastic and everything, and I'm like, yeah, the taking notes effectively. It's this guy, and here. And I'm like, oh yeah, he's like kind of part of my kind of nerd too. So I love him. Yeah.
Never write down everything. 2, don't even grab.
He goes on and he's like, oh well, if you want to take class that way and you want to do this, so yeah, so he took a little warming up too as I watched the video. But that's why I decided to put him on there, but it's great. But anyway, you can see, so it just gives you the campuses. And then when we go back, if you go back to the main tutor finder, you can view all tutors. So say, you get to where you're like, oh, I really want to work with, let's say, Nadia. She's great, cool. You like, you do make some connections, you work with some people, and then you can go in there and find them and say, when are they working? Cool? Now, that's not Writing Center extra credit. But if you can't get to the Writing Center, they have longer hours than our Writing Centers. And you're like, hey, I couldn't get to the Writing Center, but I went and did tutoring online or face-to-face, and our online Writing Center hours, I think, are a little longer than that, but theirs are even longer. You can work with one of their tutors, and that counts too. Okay. There are instructions on the website that tell you how to do that. Involves taking a screenshot and stuff like that, okay? Because they'll send you an email, but I want to see a little more than that vague email they send you. Okay. Yeah, or they send me a thing that shows me, and all it shows me is that you showed up. I don't know what you were working on, whatever. Okay, so yeah, I need something a little more than that. Okay, go read on the extra credit page that instruction. So it has the tutor finder on it. I love the tutor finder. What else does it have? It has the personal help and support. So let's see, older kids want a space to study. There's the parent older kids will travel, want a space to study that also allows your kids to play. There we go. We have a parent resource center. So if you have kids, or if you're working in a group with somebody who has kids and they're like, oh man, I can't make it up here, I can't find a babysitter, you can go work in that room, right? Say, hey, let's go to the parent resource center, and there's toys, and they got a TV, and they play like Disney movies or something like that. I don't know, right? And there's computers there too. So if you want to go sit down, and one of my students came by last semester, and she had her kid with, and she was like, well, are we going to go to the cool place where they have toys? Mom, he was all excited. It was new stuff, right? And she's like, oh yeah, he loves it, and it's great because I can sit there and I can get my work done, and he thinks it's like a treat. I'm like, oh, we're going to go to mom's school, and he's like, oh, cool, So yeah, but there's also have, bigger tables. So if you need to do some group work and you have kids or somebody else, they can be there, right? And once they're bigger, you can go to the library and, they can do, there's gift books, there's whatever, right? They can do whatever. And so you can have that space too. Let's see, healthy free meals. There we go. We have Tejano Mercado. We're supposed to have one at every campus. I don't know if that has happened, but I do know that Robin over in Campus Life, where you get your school ID and everything, make sure and get that. The first one's free. Okay, don't lose it or change your looks. Yeah, mine didn't. No. They accept donations. It's available for an immediate shopping experience. Mobile food. Oh, RGTM. Oh, okay. So mobile food pantry. I don't know what that is, but anyway. Oh, well, they do, like yesterday, they were doing the go through and get food, right? So if you know somebody else, you need food, somebody else, they do that where you just drive through and it's the food bank thing, the drive through food bank, okay? So yesterday, it was here, they do it there's a schedule somewhere. Anyway, June through November, so you can look at that. But also, really, you can go into Campus Life. If you're like, man, I really need to eat. I didn't eat today, you're like, yeah, I really couldn't afford anything or anything like that. Go ask Robin. Say, hey, Robin, I need to eat. Go say, hi, my name's Kelly. No, my teacher's Kelly. And she told me your name was Robin. She's got like the long gray hair. It's real pretty. Does that? Okay. Yeah. So she'll hook you up. All right. What else do we got? We've got EPCC care. So our counselors do we have advisors who are advising you with scheduling and everything, and our counselors also do that too. But we do have a number of just counselors, like they are therapy counselors, right? So if you need some counseling, if you know somebody, I should have, if they would have had that here when I was like crying in the classroom, I would have gotten my ass over there and said, I'm crying in the classroom. I don't know what to do. Yeah, I don't think we like that. So anyway, we have that. Please take advantage of that. You get like up to 8 counseling sessions free. They'll find there are a lot of resources around where, free that they can hook you up with in town, over here, whatever, that kind of thing. So, or, like I said, all of this is not just for you. I teach this for you so you can pass it on. You're in class with somebody and, you're talking and you're realizing they're in crisis. You say, the counselors actually are counseling and you can get free counseling therapy. That's the deal. 8 sessions, that's like money. You don't have to pay.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Okay, that's good, right? So yeah, mental health, that kind of thing. Scared of public speaking. Here's some great reads on those kinds of things. Visuals needed. IT technology checkout. You can access to Photoshop. If the makerspace, there's one at Via Verde, but also in the library. They're kind of eventually we want to get a space for it, but they've kind of built a nice collection. They have a 3D printer, they have a laser cutter. There's one at Via Verde where they have 3D printers and the wood laser cutters and everything. So you can go into the library here and ask them about that if you're like, hey, I would like something 3D printed, or I'm interested in knowing more, or yeah, whatever. Okay, so check that out. We're working on getting where like we also have like sewing machines and stuff like that. So like kind of whatever ways you want to create, which I love because I'm really excited about that. So I'm like, ooh. So yeah, I haven't really taken advantage of that laser printer cut thing, yet. So yeah, but I want to. I want to think on it. Right? Figure out how to do designs for it and everything. So. Yeah, design explained. There's a nice thing, accessibility tips, those kinds of things. Writing tools. So we've got the writing center, we've got the tutoring center. We get Grammarly for free. So you want the free full premium edition of Grammarly. And we'll talk about using grammar tools and AI tools, stuff like that, over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, we do get that. So you just have to enroll with your college email, right? You sign up with your college email, and that will give you the free one. Click there, and it'll show you that. Okay. And then there's a number of other tools. Like I haven't used this Noodle one, but then there's the library guide and the librarians. I mean, really, you need help doing research, finding sources for anything. Just go talk to them. You'll be walking out with like books and stuff and lists of things that you've sent yourself online. Being, thank you so much. I gotta go. My mom's calling. Yeah, okay. Like librarians, man, they are so excited to see you walk in the door and so excited to help you. Because otherwise, they're just sitting around printing things on the 3D printer, and that you want to learn about that. You're like, hey, I heard you have this. I want like a cool necklace or something. Yeah, and you go paint it. Yeah, or have your kids do it. Be like, yeah, see this lovely monstrosity? That's my child. Hey, mine's from 33. He does better now. But I do have one that he did when he was like 6 or 7 in my office, and it's like, yeah, so it's great. I love it. So that's the communication toolbox, and it does have a lot of great things. And so I put it on both. Um, I put it on all the classes. Why did that open there? There we go. And then EPCC resources, I think it has some other things. It's got student services, financial aid. Yeah, this is a great go-to because it has, thank you. It's kind of got a repeat of those things, but it's also got links, Center for Students with Disabilities. Yeah, it's kind of a repeat of a lot of things, but probably a few new ones. All right, cool. And tips for online class success, which, y'all were smart enough to sign up this way, right? Yeah. How many of y'all have taken online classes? How many of you taught them? Dude, there's so much more work. Okay, so I have a mean streak. I'll tell you where my mean streak, I found it. So I have taught online classes since 1997. Post-COVID, I was like, I'm done. If you need me to teach an online class, I'll do it. But otherwise, I want to be in the classroom face-to-face. That's all, right? I mean, I'll keep my job. I got to do it. I'll do it, and I'll be happy about it, right? But people would tell before COVID, people would be like, oh, you're teaching an online class. Like, oh, that's just like easy, you slacker, right? And I was like, shit, no, especially with a skills class. This is, if you actually want to teach people and you don't want to just like, okay, you just fill it out, do it, whatever, and fake it, right? But if you actually care about people learning and going out and actually being able to, for you to be successful in your life, because this is not about Kelly. I already got my stuff. I'm doing fine, right? Oh, Kelly Wood, knock on wood. There we go. I'm doing all right. Okay. But I want you to go out, and I want you to. The thing is I don't want you to look like a fool when you send an email. That's what it comes down to, right? I want you to look like, okay, I'm good, right? You make a fool with those people that you work with and you're closer to. Okay, that's why sometimes I don't mind the mistakes because I think we bond more with people sometimes when we do those stupid things together, right? Whether it's going out and doing stupid things or you're like, oh, and then y'all still come back next time. I'll be like, oh, okay, cool, that's good. You're not looking at me like I'm supposed to know everything and do it perfect because it just ain't gonna happen. Right? And I'm not looking at y'all that way either. Right? So, where was I? I got lost.
Online classes.
Online classes are harder if you care. And if you have content skills, because this is skill, right? How to write, how to communicate. If we could just read the book and take the test, we'd be done. Would have all been done years ago. Right? I'd be teaching something else. Interpretive dance. Yeah. So have y'all taken online classes?
I'm gonna take one.
Yeah. Psychology. Okay, that's kind of a lot of knowledge stuff. That's a little easier, but you're going to be asked to do discussions for sure in your class. Which remember, if you're in a class, whether it's face to face, because even face to face, you are probably going to have an online component. And so, yeah, ask me too about computer stuff because I don't know it all, but I know people who know a lot more, right? And I know quite a bit of it because I've done this online. But they would tell me, they act like it's easy. When COVID hit, my heart broke. K through 12 teachers who hadn't done it before, except for those bastards who treated me like I was a slacker when they were like, oh, you teach online classes. I was like, oh, you're going to find out. Mm-hmm. And they did. Or else they were still slackers. I mean, really. It's like slackers going to slack. People that work are going to work. And we do change over time. There are ways that I slacked when I was younger that I'm like, now I'm like, I can't believe I did that. But hey, I grew, so. Yeah, so online classes are tougher. But like when you're doing a discussion, right? So, and with your discussions, I'll give you the real quick thing, right? Is what you want to do is, you're given this question, of these videos that you watch, say you watched all the videos, right? Say I told you to watch all the videos, and then I'm like, okay, I want everybody to put a discussion on Blackboard, right? And maybe the question was, which one did you like the best and why, right? Well, that's easy, right? You just really look at the question. We've got to do this reading, and this is kind of one of the first steps toward what we're heading for, is thinking about, okay, well, you say, hey, I like this one. And then you got to explain that why. Well, how do you get the rest of those words? Maybe they want you to write 200 words. I know. And you're like, well, because it was cool. The guy kept my attention, right? It made sense to me. Okay. That's about 50. Maybe if we put that in sentences, right? So how do we do that? Well, you give quotes. You say, for example, when they said this, this, and that, right? I really like that. That made sense. I actually have, and then you can use your own examples. Right? So we're using evidence both from the video, but then also from our real life, right? Like I never did that, but then one day I did this and it really worked, and you tell that story, right? Or I've always done this, and sometimes I don't do it, and I remember I learned so much better. I understand so much better when I do it this way. So, I mean, that's what you're doing. Really, in college, the way you make things longer is give examples. And what examples you give depends on the class, right? If they're saying in psychology, we're studying this, 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 and that, it's talked about in chapter whatever, which one of these do you think is the most reasonable? Explain. Well, you're going to explain, you're going to use that textbook and you're going to say, so here's how it's defined. And maybe you even put that little definition. So there's some words, right? Now, if you just copy from the textbook this much, they're going to be like, duh, I read the book too. I got a degree in it, advanced degree. Right? But you can put a little bit, and then you say, okay, so it's this, and then they gave an example of, you kind of put it in your own words of, this guy, this gal, this person, when they did this and that, and here's how it worked, right? And then you say, if you get to use examples from your own observation or experience, then you say, oh, one time when I knew this person who this, that, whatever. Same thing we do if you were just sitting there in class talking about, so when I had this friend, right? You just do it on paper. You can do that. Write it out. And you can take it to the writing center and say, hey, this is for Dr. Olivas's class, right? And say, yeah, I'm going to do a discussion, but I just want to make sure it sounds good and, that kind of thing. Or they have computers in there, and you can actually, we'll go by today writing center? No, today's library. Next time we'll go by the writing center, okay? But we'll go by, but they have computers in there, and you can even bring it up, like especially if you saved it on your OneDrive, you bring it up and say, they'll sit there with you, and they'll help you work on the grammar, or you show them the question. Make sure you have your assignment, whether it's online or whatever, because that way, they can look for that. That's one of the things we're gonna do is look at assignments. How are they written, and what do teachers mean when they use this word or that word? It is. It's math. What does that math teacher mean when they say integers? Numbers. Like, why didn't you say it that way, dude? Yeah, but that's why you make that glossary. That's why you do that notes in your own words, right? You write integers equals numbers. I used to, one of the things, and I still do it, is when okay, so I have everything marked, here's everything, and then there's a phone, because this actually has contact area, but then there's little musical notes, because these are the notes, right? And at the very back, I always keep like a kind of page where I do these random things. Oh, like one of my coworkers came in and was telling me about one of her class that largely most of her students are really doing that border between Spanish and English. And she said they were talking about things that help. And she said this Stimular, STIMULER app for learning languages. She said one of her students was like, "Oh my gosh, I've gotten in 3 months where like I can hear the English and understand it." And that is the hardest thing. I hear Spanish and I'm like, I caught 3 words out of it. When I got off the plane after I came home from Merida, I was there for like 5 weeks, right, studying, doing my Spanish better. And I'm like, yeah, I got it. It's cool. Merida, they spoke much slower. It was great. And I get off the plane and I'm walking through the El Paso airport, and there's this woman talking Spanish just like this, and I'm like, oh, I don't even know what you said. So yeah, so I mean, like those kinds of things, right? So I'll make notes of just kind of stuff like that. That it's like, okay, put that there. Oh, this is my I started this today. Productive procrastination. So sometimes when I know I need to do work, like I'll do things that aren't actually that job, not actually that homework, but I do something else that's related to work, and it makes me feel like I'm doing work. Or sometimes it just gets me into the mindset. So, I'm going to retake the defibrillator course online because I was like reminded that, yeah, maybe I should have paid better attention to that because we have defibrillators around here and they do have, the instructions on them. But if I needed to grab that defibrillator and use it, it would be a tense moment, right? And so it's better if I'm at least a little familiar with those instructions so that should that happen, yeah.
The AED. The AED.
Yeah. 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 So I've done it, but it's been a couple of years, and I'm like, yeah, I've done it. But you know what? One of these days when I'm productively procrastinating,
What is
I have
that
a
for?
list of productive things. That would be a good thing for me to do, right?
What is that used for though?
They're for like if somebody's having a heart attack,
Oh,
right? Yeah, cardiac arrest. Yeah, and you
oh,
hook them up. Clear.
oh, okay. Yeah, that's good to know.
I'm not a doctor, and I didn't play one on TV, but no, I mean they're made for like anybody to be able to use. They've got like the pictures on it. It says do this, do that,
Usually,
And the thing is that what's that?
Usually, when you never turn it on, they'll actually give you instructions.
Yeah, it does exactly. Yeah, it does exactly. So, but it's good to have seen the videos like 10, 15 minutes. It's good to have seen that because I can't actually go unpack that one unless it's being used. So they don't like that. Just go grab it and say, I'm going to play with it. So yeah, so I thought, it'd be good to just in case. Yeah. So which, I mean, the thing is they save lives.
Yeah, exactly.
They save lives. So yeah, that's cool.
Okay. All right. That's a lot of stuff that kind of seems off topic, but who knows whether it is or not. Questions you want to ask? This is why I don't plan much for the first couple of days, because it's just like figuring out stuff. So here's our schedule. I didn't print the first 2 pages for you. It is on Blackboard, excuse me. It is on kelli.ninja. There we go. It's, I'll put the videos here. Did I start? Oh yeah, we're flashing. Okay, cool. Theoretically. So it's got like we looked at last time, the date. This is what we're doing. So we'll talk a little bit more about note taking, and then we'll go check them out at the library. Okay. 1:30. We started at 11. Okay, 12. Wait. Well, yeah. Okay. We're done at 2. Correct? Ish. Yeah. All right. I got it. And so it has what we're doing. So like next time, what we're doing, so you want to read this the same way as you would the 1301. So it's 2 classes. You got 2 schedules, right? So next time for the 1301, we've got some read watch. We may have some things that are due. I don't know. Let's take a look. Let's find out. Here we go. Schedules. Monday, Wednesday. Make sure. There it is. Cool. Now I'm paranoid about them all. Next time for 1301, it will be Monday. You're going to read and you're going to watch. You're going to read and you're going to watch. That's it. If you haven't done the quiz, that kind of stuff, get it done. Okay. But that's it. So you're going to read those. You're going to watch that. You're good. Take your notes, right? Because you're going to be turning in your notes. And then for this class, you're going to check out this how to read an assignment. This is a worksheet. And I say bring an assignment to class. You can bring it digitally or, print it out, whatever. Remember, you can print out the computer labs. They're not going to charge you for it. You can't print out the whole workbook. I mean, you could do it one section at a time, and then just add to it, okay? Or if you get to a point this semester where you're like, this stuff I really want printed out, not the whole thing, yeah, you can do it at home. But you can also go to the computer lab and print for free, okay? So you could do that. Yeah, if you want to print 125 pages, they're going to be like, no, okay, no. So there's this worksheet, and you can just click on it, and it'll open up, obviously. And you can do this one of 2 ways. I'm fine in this class in general. If I want you to do the worksheet, I'll probably print it out, okay? But you can print it out and do it. And there are some places where I have this is the PDF, but I also have the Word document. So if you're like, you want to just open it and do it on your computer, okay? That way, either way. Or you can just go through this and like it says, okay, write down the assignment information, the class, the course, the assignment name, due date. You can do that in your own notes. Okay, it doesn't have to. If you want to draw boxes and make it look pretty, you can. But if you're like, whatever, then cool. I mean, just get the information down. Okay. So again, now you have biology. So you can go find, there's an assignment online that you're teaching. Go to your biology class, go to that psychology class. Look ahead, see where are those assignments. What's one assignment you have to do? It does not have to be write an essay. It could be do a discussion. Right? It could be we're going to do this lab report, and there's the example of it, right? If you're all taking 1301, I know that if you're only taking these 2 classes, well, I know at least 3 or 4 assignments you have to take too. Okay, so you could definitely bring in one of those. That's worthy of thinking about. If I don't know, did I tell you about Kwame and the legal assistant? Because we'd gone through and he wanted to be a legal assistant, and I said, look, if you want to actually sit right here, he was in this classroom. I said, okay. For example, Kwame wants to be a legal assistant. You can go find assignments online. You're like, hey, you know what? I want to know, yeah, I have classes now, but what I'd really like to know is, and my battery's dying, so I'm going to get it some power. I do have that. I got the power. You can look for assignments online because teachers think the best thing in the world to do is to, put assignments online. So I could do legal assistant paralegal, because they get called both. First assignment. I'm just thinking, what might something be called, right? First assignment. Let's see. Um, college, school, class. I'm just putting in word salad of what do I want it to find in the search, right? I'm just saying, look, like what's a typical first assignment? I could let it, this comes up, this gives the AI overview, reading and vocabulary, writing a short essay defining what it is, and it gives you the links. Like here, Course Hero, assignment number 1, Intro to the Paralegal Profession. There we go. Interview project, located working paralegal. This would be great. This is something you might do in college. Okay. So gives you those. I don't know. You have to look and say, does this look kind of legit? Right. Course Hero, I know they do that. Yeah. Weekly discussion for students and future paralegals. Like this is on Reddit, but teachers talk about that stuff. Students talk about that stuff. If you have questions, Reddit search function on the top one. I've finished my certificate. Bottom line. My program's 100 online. Okay, they're just talking about their program. Yeah, whatever. If you're interested, though, I did find it interesting. There's a lot of writing to do. So, Central Texas College. Yeah, okay, there we go. So you have to look around some, and if you can't find it, you know what librarians have their degree in? Finding stuff. I mean, really, think about it, right? As a librarian, they're like helping people find things. They know where to put them away so we can find them again. If you can't find an assignment, well, one, you all have 1301 assignments. So you can do that. And it's not just the easy out. It's good because we would be previewing one of the major writing assignments you're doing. We're going to do the MLA assignment. It's the first one. We're going to do the emblematic essay. We're going to do the, and I would go to my website there. Okay. So when you go to my website and you look at, here we go. We look at the menu over here. Like if you're on the schedules page and you go to 1301, here's the thing is this one, the literary analysis and the media analysis, I'm not doing right now. I have some I changed because, I get tired and want to do something different, right? The first one, the emblematic essay, I never changed that one. I've been teaching it for over 20 years and it is beautiful every semester. I read it and I'm just like, this is so wonderful. So yeah, I got y'all set up for success, man. I'm like, I've never read one. I've read some that I thought, man, the grammar was horrible. I was conferencing this one dude once and I was like, oh my God, you are an amazing writer. And he went, I said, nobody's told you that before. He said, no, like my grammar. They're like, yeah, your grammar, but your ideas and like the way you're writing some of this, grammar's the easy stuff. We can fix it. And now we got like advanced grammar fixers, right? I mean, with AI, and that the challenge there is making sure we're bringing the ideas and we're keeping our voice. Because if we're just letting the AI do it, then don't spend your money because you're not going to have a job because the AI is cheaper than us any day long, right? It is a lot cheaper to subscribe to an AI on a monthly basis than it is to pay my salary, my benefits. I have sick days, all of this. The AI, sick days? No, Nope. Once in a while they're offline, right? Oh my God, the world freaks out. Something's offline, right? But it usually doesn't last that long. We've got enough, reiteration there that most things don't go offline for too long. You want to have, you're here and you're thinking, man, I don't want to be one of those places where I don't have a job because of AI. Well, you got to build your expertise so that you have something more than just what the computer can offer, no matter how smart it gets. That's the key thing. And so what we got to do is build that critical thinking, our human thinking. But yeah, I told him, I'm like, dude, no, your writing is amazing. It really is. I said, we'll figure that out. And by the end, we'd figured out, like I taught him tools. I'm like, here. And then you learn a little more. You start looking at it differently. And yeah, he's doing an amazing job. And my job is I get paid to look at writing as a whole, not just say, oh, this grammar, I don't like it. So first thing people will turn off because they're like, well, that's not right. And I'm like, well, did you look under the surface, right? But everybody didn't get paid to look under the surface. I get paid to do that. And I get paid to help you see that, to find the beauty and the strength in what you do, and then to say, okay, where our weakness is at, there's no problem having a weakness. You just got to figure out how to fix it. My weakness is sometimes I mess shit up. And so my strength is I'm willing to say, thank you for telling me, let me fix it. Right? Instead of being the person who's like, well, you should have just figured it out yourself, right? Those assholes won't admit they're wrong. Yeah, you wronger than I am. Then I get all judgy. I'm like, so these two I don't do, but there are still good ones to look at, right? They're assignments. We're learning how to read an assignment. We will be doing this one, the emblematic, the informative, and the argument. And we're doing reflections also. And when you go to any of these pages, there's the assignment and the pre-writing. So here's the overall assignment, and then we do these little steps pre-writing, so we're not writing it all at once, right? So if you're like, I can't find one, or I just kind of want the easier thing to find, pick one of these. Okay, so no problem. And sometimes you work smart, not hard, right? You have a psychology class. I totally pick that too. You know, if there's something there, your biology class, if you look at it and you're like, hey, yeah, this is kind of, or if you look through those assignments, if you have access to them on Blackboard or whatever, because then if you look at it and you're like, I don't understand this, well, one is you'll learn some as you go through and your teacher will help you. But I can teach you, the point of this project is to learn to read kind of these keywords that are in a lot of college things, like how they ask for things. How do you make it longer? 200 words instead of 50. Yeah, I liked it. It was cool. It was short. Yay. I gave it a thumbs up. Like, how do I do that 200 and sound smart? Okay. How do I make it good enough for your friends? Good enough. Would you recommend this? What was the coolest part of it? Right? Telling a teacher that? Or doing it on a discussion where everybody's going to be reading what you wrote too? Yeah, that's Writing Center. Cool. So that's your job for next time, is to do that.
Quick question, sorry. Where did you find that?
What you just showed, that was on my webpage. So when you go to, wait, come on, Kelly, where's it at? Why are you doing this to me? Stop doing this to me. kelli.ninja, menu 1301, and then you can go to any of these, the emblematic, the informative, the argument. Those are the three we're going to do. Yeah, those are our big essays. We'll also do these reflections, and of course you're doing class notes. Wouldn't be bad to go back through that class notes. Oh shit, y'all aren't taking notes right now, are you? How much of this stuff do you need to write down? Some days in here? Yeah. But a few things along the way, like, oh, that thing of where to find it and everything like that'd be good. So, yeah, I get a little more hardcore every week as we go along of like saying, was there nothing we talked about in class that you really think is worth writing down? Huh? And sometimes you just bullshit it, okay? Okay. But yeah, and it's also like remembering to do that. Okay. So yeah, so I start out mellow, but then as you learn more, I'm like, okay, step it up. Let's just go a little, Okay, I was a cheerleader, but I tried to play basketball once. I just didn't like it, and I wasn't good at it. Yeah, volleyball. I was like, I got it. Oh yeah, I don't. Okay, like, not good. But I could do jumping, tumbling, and I was loud, so I was great at cheerleading, right? And I could run, not short distances. As Forrest Gump, you point me and you just tell me to keep running. Okay, so I could just go step after step after step after step after step after step after step, right? And I could do that. But you don't start off doing it all at once. The marathon thing, right? So I'm not going to say I'm going to run a marathon again tomorrow because I haven't actually run in quite a while. Okay, I'm going to walk and jog a little bit, then walk, jog a little bit. Yeah. You know what? I mean, I'm going to build it up, right? And then maybe by the end of the semester, I run a marathon. Maybe I'll finish. Maybe I won't. We'll see. But I'll be much better in shape to at least try. Okay. So yeah. So as we go through the semester, you're building your skills. It gets harder because it gets more challenging. But yeah, it's a good thing. So there's those. If you want to know about writing a research essay, a film essay, a fiction essay, there's those. Right. So look at what your teachers have on their blackboard, on anything they've given you. You can look here. You want to do something for your field? Where my nurse is at? Yeah, right. You're like, oh, let me look at what is a basic. You could just kind of do a search. What is a basic assignment for students when they're doing a nursing program? That would have been the better search. What is a basic assignment for students when they are doing whatever it is? They're studying radiology. They're studying social work. They're studying, whatever. So, questions? kelli.ninja. Just look at the schedules, okay? I mean, the options there. So read that and then fill out this form. And again, if you want to go print it out or you want to, I'll put it up there in a doc form too. So if you just kind of want to do it online or on your computer, then you can do that. Wait, that's the here and now. That was the there and then. This is the here and now. Schedule. I got that form done. Boom. Assignment INRW doc upload to schedule. See, those were all the words I needed. Now we'll see if it actually makes sense when I look back at it, right? Okay, that's why I added the to schedule. So, questions? No? Okay. I am going to